Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 7 o'clock and it is time to start the Board of Education business meeting for August. Welcome everyone, glad you're here. I hope everybody got to see our summer graduation. We had 9 graduates here, I think we had 11 total. Awesome. Moving on, we'll declare that we do have a quorum and look to excuse any board members that are not here at this time.
I move to excuse Anita Gardner, Jennifer Lopez.
Second.
Ms. Enriquez Pippa.
Yes.
Ms. Reed.
Yes.
Ms. Dover Jones.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Next thing up is the adoption of our agenda.
I also voted yes too, so.
Oh, I forgot.
She also voted yes.
Okay, thank you, Stacy. Stacy, we're moving on to adopt the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda as it's written. Second.
Motion in a second. Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
Ms. Dover Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez Pippa?
Yes.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Now, we have a special group that's going to help us say the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Stewart and her C&I team. Whenever you're ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Item 1.05 is public comment. Do we have anybody that wants to, is there anyone here that wants to speak to the board? Hearing none, then we will move on to the President's report, or our reports, and the President's report is the first one. Ritenour High School class of 2025. A few more things to brag about. So the 3 E's, enrollment, employment, enlistment, the military, we're setting up our students for a bright future. So not only did we have the largest graduating class in recent memory, but we also had a record 7 seniors admitted early decision to Washington University in St. Louis, with scholarships and financial aid packages that covered all their expenses. They'll begin their college education journey this fall. That's a heck of a scholarship right there, folks, let me tell you. Next, our 2025 graduates earned a total of, as we all calculated it all, $11.4 million worth of scholarships. Should be proud of that as well. 8 students earned an associate's degree from St. Louis Community College, along with their high school diploma. That just started, what, a few years back? We had 1 or 2, now we have 8. 10 students entered the military. 20 students earned industry-recognized certificates from Ritenour High School and North County Technical School. So as you can see, our students and our graduates continue to do great things. Thank you to all of our administrators, our teachers, staff members, and everyone that touches the lives of our students, whether here in Ritenour or out in our community. Thank you all for everything that you do to help our students succeed in their journey called life. That ends my report, and we shall now turn to Michael LaChance for the superintendent report.
Thank you. Really happy to be here. As Dr. Kilbride, as we mentioned earlier, is with his son, sending him away to college, so very happy to be here. My report today is about the 2025 Ritenour Hall of Fame announcement. I'm proud to announce that 3 outstanding Ritenour alumni and 1 Lifetime Achievement Award recipient will be inducted into the Ritenour Hall of Fame this year. The event will take place at 6 p.m. on Friday, September 26th at the Ritenour Auditorium. The 2025 inductees are Susie Fortune, class of 1981, an award-winning athlete, coach, and educator who was a college Hall of Fame athlete before serving more than 28 years as a teacher and coach at Ritenour High School. Tavonda Palmer Harvey, class of 2000, a celebrated Ritenour educator who has received numerous local, state, and national awards and serves as director of Ritenour Husky Academy. Dr. David A. Smith, class of 1981, a decorated retired U.S. Air Force veteran who now serves as an administrative judge with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And Dr. Paul Dorr, Lifetime Achievement Award, a dedicated leader who served Ritenour for 24 years, including 11 years as superintendent, and recognized for his long-standing and transformative contributions to the district. The Ritenour Hall of Fame was established in 1997 to honor graduates who have demonstrated outstanding professional accomplishments, civic involvement, and community service. Portraits of the 110 current Hall of Fame members and 12 Lifetime Achievement Award recipients are displayed in the Ritenour School Auditorium lobby. We look forward to learning more about our newest inductees this fall on September 26th. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Next report is the NSBA report, and I'll turn to Ms. Vanessa Enriquez.
Good evening, board and everybody. So this MSBA report is specifically about the video we're going to watch is over the new Senate bill with the cell phones and sort of what the correlation with safety and some of the things that this bill covers. But it's only a 4-minute video, and so there's actually they're doing MSBA is holding webinars to explain a little bit more all of the impacts of this bill and its different components. So I've extracted just the YouTube link from the one recording that's already available. So I will just send that email that you can just click on that link and watch that, listen to it as a podcast if you want. It's like an hour long about, again, the 14 components of this bill. So obviously not going to cover everything in this video, but there was that. And then I did just have a quick question. There's a board president's meeting on the 27th. Do you attend? Is that like the board president's like for you?
It is some of the gathering of presidents in the area, and it's like a Zoom meeting.
It's a Zoom meeting, yeah.
And I've made about half of them.
Okay, I wasn't sure what that, because it popped up and you could RSVP for it, so I did, thinking that it was like the board of directors of MSBA.
No,
but
it's just a group that is
Got it, okay.
trying to get more.
But there is a regional fall meeting September 3rd.
And who's ever wanting to go to that is at Brentwood.
Brentwood.
I don't know what building in Brentwood, but it's at Brentwood School District. Anybody that wants to go, let's put it in.
Yes. But yeah, that concludes my report. I'll let us watch the video.
Welcome to the August edition of the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report. We begin with a look at how the signing of Senate Bill 68 into law will affect Missouri school districts. The legislation, which takes effect on August 28th, marks a major milestone in Missouri's commitment to school safety. CES's Chief Operating Officer, John McDonald, says that while meeting the requirements of this law may take some work, CES is here to help every step of the way.
We at CES had the opportunity to collaborate on what became Senate Bill 68. And we're incredibly grateful for that opportunity. Our voice was heard. We appreciate that. The voice of school safety professionals across the state was heard. We're pretty excited about where it's going, but we know there's going to be a ton of work ahead for us at the Center for Education Safety, including all of the training that now has to be done. You know, there was a misconception out there that this bill would cost school districts a lot of money. It does not. It takes some time. It'll take some effort, but the effort is worth it, and the time is well spent.
Many districts have already contacted CES asking about what they should purchase to meet the new requirements. John has some simple advice.
What I'm sharing with everybody here is don't buy a thing. You're getting a lot of calls from vendors right now who are telling you that you need to buy their product to be in compliance with Senate Bill 68, and it's just not true. Most of Senate Bill 68 has very little cost to school districts. The cost is in the effort. The cost is in the time to get your team ready to go to be more prepared. It is not a huge monetary cost. And those monetary costs that are in the bill don't come online for a couple of years. So throughout Senate Bill 68, we tried to find ways to enhance foundational aspects of school safety that don't cost a lot of money.
In addition to doubling the number of school safety academies to meet demand, the CES team will be delivering new updates and key training in new ways as well.
We are launching a webinar series, Lunch and Learns. We'll get into specifics about a certain aspect of the bill that's critical for schools to know. It's not just school safety people that should be listening or watching us. Our administrators, even our boards, our superintendents. I understand your time is limited, your time is valuable, but this is a big bill. And, you know, I come from a place where I've learned over the course of my career that at the end of the day, in the aftermath of crisis and tragedy, you'll either have to justify what you've done or you'll have to justify what you didn't do.
To learn more about Senate Bill 68 and upcoming safety trainings, visit the MSBA website and watch the weekly for updates. Also, make sure that your safety teams receive the Safety Weekly emails from the CES team. John covered so much important information that we couldn't fit it all into the board report, so visit the MSBA website or the MSBA YouTube channel to see the extended interview with John. CES is also proud to co-sponsor MSBA's AI and Education Symposium Wednesday, October 22nd in conjunction with the MSBA Annual Conference in Kansas City. MSBA's Director of Digital Initiatives, Mark Henderson, says that the event has something for everyone regardless of your AI expertise or experience level.
AI is transforming education right now. Are you prepared to lead the changes in your district? At this one-day event, we'll explore how AI supports learning and how school leaders like you can lead with confidence. We'll kick off with Kim Carr, co-founder and executive director of Digital for Good and I Can Help, a nationally recognized leader in digital wellness and online safety education. Then you'll experience expert sessions led by practicing educators, technology professionals, legal experts, and student voices covering AI implementation in classrooms, cybersecurity, policy development, career readiness, and more.
Registration is open now for the AI and Education Symposium, as well as the MSBA Annual Conference in cooperation with the Missouri Association of School Administrators and the Missouri Association of School Business Officials. The conference will be held on October 23rd through the 25th in Kansas City. The event will once again feature numerous breakout sessions and workshops, many presented by school leaders from districts throughout the state, the Education Expo, and another great lineup of general session speakers. And it's not too late to register for MSBA's fall regional meetings this September. The topic is Phones and Funds, tackling today's tough school policy and finance issues. Held across all 17 regions, these meetings provide a great opportunity to connect with fellow school leaders, receive important updates, and participate in regional discussions that impact your local district. Visit the MSBA website to register for your region's meeting. That's it for this month. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and we'll see you in September for the next MSBA Board Report.
So like, during the video, I just sent the YouTube link with the webinar, so it's just really easy access. And that concludes my report.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Keep in mind these dates for NSBA and MSBA and the different events if you want to go. please don't wait till the last minute to let Linda know that you're going, and she can make the arrangements. Thank you for your report. Next up is our special school district report. Dr. Stacy Alvin Wilson, do you have a report for us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you now.
I will stop hearing you. I don't know why.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right, there you go. I was having a little time spent with Andy about my Tuesday coming up this week, just getting ready to talk to some of the building leadership. So I'm very excited to hear what's going to be happening for our school year and in these months, making sure that we are definitely communicating with our special school district leadership. The other meeting that's coming up is September the 22nd at 7 p.m. We're having a Zoom meeting in September. A lot of that also is just kind of guidance for new board members that we do at that particular meeting. But it's always wonderful to meet with everybody. So nothing formal as yet. Yet, but I'm very much looking forward to the start of this next school year and all the wonderful things that are in cooperation with special school districts.
It's Stacy.
Yes, that's my report. So remember September 22nd, and then we take them out.
Thank you very much, Stacy.
You bet.
All right, student representative report, Ms. Reagan Beverly.
As the school year approaches, I find it appropriate to thank and highlight our district staff for creating a welcoming environment for our students surrounding our school. From the resource fair to the social media posts, emails being sent out, all the sports camps and transition day, which happened earlier today, all of these efforts have created a sense of excitement and community to start the school year, and have also encouraged students to involve themselves at their school, which I've encouraged them. Additionally, those efforts can also be put to promoting our board meetings a little bit more. It is important that students, parents, community members feel empowered to learn more about the district, expanding efforts through reminders and newsletters, social media posts, and working with student leaders such as myself to grow participation and results. And that's my report.
Thank you very much. Senior year, ready to roll?
I guess so. Only one way to find out.
All right. Monday will come whether we're ready or not, right? Okay, thank you. On to our business items. Our first business item is always our personnel recommendations, and we turn to Dr. Michael LaChance for that presentation.
Good evening, board members. I'm here to present items 1 through 46, open any questions you may have, and ultimately asking for your approval.
I noticed that we have a lot of individuals that are in assignments such as item 3. And can you give me an understanding of what that role and responsibility looks like?
We have an agreement with Teach STL where we've identified areas where to assist with attracting talent to the district to fill future vacancies. They have a process where they identify adults who are often second career adults who are looking for something different. And they want to make a difference and they would like to be educators. And they all have bachelor's degrees. And they work through Washington University. And over the course of one school year, working as a paraprofessional in the teacher's classroom for an entire year with a lead teacher that also works with Teach STL and provides mentorship. They work towards almost like a years-long student teaching, fully involved in the classroom. Part of the day, they're freed up from that classroom to learn about academic interventions or social emotional interventions. At the end of that first year, they're provided a provisional certification through the state of Missouri, and then they the goal is they join us as a teacher the next year and continue to work on completing their master's at Washington University. This was a program, I think we initially brought it to the board for consideration probably a little over a year ago with the MOU with Teach STL, and their research have a lot more success and a lot more findings of people who stay in the career long term to retirement based on the support that they provide and the mentorship they provide. So you'll see there's a number of individuals on the report that are joining us in key areas where we have found shortages in applicants, and that's really a part of our strategy to ensure that we're fully staffed for in future years. This past year, we had 2 individuals in that role at Ritter Middle School, and they filled vacancies that we had this year at the middle school level in mathematics. So this year, we've expanded to the elementary level. As we said before, we've noticed, although we've been successful filling all of our vacancies, we noticed a significant shortage or fewer applicants at the elementary level compared to historic numbers of applicants. And that's often being impacted by the shortage of teachers just going into the field and finishing an education program. So, I do just like to add one more piece. Partnering with Teach STL, they know the mission of our district and they know
CDO.
yes, and they also know how important diversity is for our district, so they have helped us recruit professionals who are looking to become teachers who are bilingual Spanish. So several of these folks are bilingual Spanish, and really we find that their interviews are high quality interviews, but they need to learn more educational jargon, which we have too much of anyway, but they definitely have the will to make a difference for our students. So this year they'll learn the skill and continue to learn those skills.
And not to push, not to be repetitive, but Monday starts school. And we are
fully staffed. Monday starts school and we're fully staffed.
aren't those nice words?
Yes. We are working to, and I'm working with Ms. Hom, we are working to, we've had 2 recent resignations this week that are not teaching positions, and we're working to fill those positions. We have applicants already, and I suspect we'll fill those in the next 2 weeks. And our teaching positions are fully staffed. So it's the supporting roles that are just, they're also important. We had a few recent resignations just in the last week.
Okay. We're good. Any other questions or comments about the personnel? We just need a motion.
Recommend to approve personal recommendation form 46 as presented.
We have a motion and a second. Asking once again, is there any other questions or comments about the people on the report? Hearing none, all vote. Robbie?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez-Pinda? Yes. Stacy Allen?
Stacy, do you have any questions about the personnel report?
Are you ready to vote? Is that a yes on the vote, or are you ready to vote yes?
He said thumbs up, so yes.
Okay. And then, Ms. Love Jones?
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, since you're there, 3.02 is the second reading and approval of policy JFCD. And
Thank you, Dr. Cummings. I'm going to invite some guests to join me here. Dr. Green, I believe you're joining me as well. And, you guys can take each chair. Thank you.
while they're coming up, this policy has to do with the report that we saw earlier about cell phones.
This is our second reading to review the new state cell phone legislation and our plan for this school year related to policy. Thank you. Just as a reminder, we're committed to building positive, purposeful relationships with every student and every family so that barriers to learning at high levels are removed. And we're going to talk about the specifics related to barriers that we're addressing through this policy. Just a little background. We know that Senate Bill 68 was signed into law by Governor Mike Kehoe on July 9th, 2025. And this policy must be in place by the first day of school, Monday, August 18th, 2025. Also want to remind the board that a district committee of administrators, teachers, staff, and students and parents collaborated throughout the summer to develop a clear, supportive, and equitable plan for implementing the legislation district-wide. Just a few guiding principles that the committee stuck by was we're favoring support over punitive and ensuring that we have learning-centered schools and also clear and consistent communication with stakeholders. And we began that communication throughout the summer leading up to the approval of policy.
The student expectations. We started with that all personal communication devices may not be visible or displayed during the school hours. That means from the very first bell of when school starts to the very last bell when they are released to buses and home. Their communication devices include, but are not limited to, cell phones, wireless headphones, any kind of Beats or AirBuds or anything like that. The smartwatches, tablets, gaming systems, anything that you can use to communicate with anybody is pretty much must be put away. Devices may not be accessed during class. This includes passing periods, lunch, study halls, bathroom breaks, passing in the hallways, anything like that from the first bell into the last bell. Instructional use of cell phones are not permitted anymore. All digital activities must be conducted via the Chromebooks, and they've been working through getting those kind of apps onto that they were using on their cell phones, getting those apps onto the Chromebooks so they can use that way instead of using their cell phones. Cell phone lockers will be available in, I believe, the office and in a couple of the key areas. That way for those that have a little bit more problem or we feel more comfortable putting it away because they know they can't not look at it, those will be available for students to use, that they can come back and get their cell phones at the end of the day. Again, the important things are including the entire instructional day, so no more QR codes or anything like that for classrooms or during lunch, during breaks or for recess for the younger grades, and then between classes and during the study halls and assemblies, and anything that happens within the normal school day. Cell phones, again, it's not limited to just cell phones. I know that that's kind of the way everything is labeled, especially in the news. But it is all smartwatches, it is all wireless headphones, gaming devices, smart glasses, for those that have that kind of money.
So I wish I had those.
Yeah. Tablets, any kind of thing that can be used. And that's kind of what we're expecting from our students. For staff, it's just sufficient that use your cell phone or other electronic mobile devices, including headphones, earbuds, smartwatches, as mentioned earlier, in the presence of students for non-work-related reasons. This means they can still use their device for dual authentication, as that is needed for work. These expectations also include all substitute teachers and all staff in the Ritenour School District. Just like students, staff members who don't follow these expectations will be addressed using their own progressive discipline.
Last week, we spoke a little bit about the progressive discipline plans for students. Dr. Green, do you want to elaborate on this one? So just again, starting with warnings and then progressively leading to plans specifically with the students to address the phone concerns or the device concerns with a team of individuals and their parents being part of that.
So as we look at supportive infrastructure as well as tools, I spoke last week about the cell phone lockers that the district purchased to support students to ensure that we were working with students in a way that where it was not punitive. Those lockers are on order and they should be arriving soon. Ideally, the lockers, maybe 30 lockers, 32. This high school will have 4 or 5 lockers. It will be in the welcome center area, cafeteria, and then in the upper lobby area for students. They have charging capabilities, and students will be able to go to the locker and select the locker utilizing a security method. And we're waiting to hear back from the vendor to see what security method would be the next one to use. We thought the charging would be a way to say to students, hey, charge your phone up, it'll be in here until the end of the day, and you come back and get it at the end of the day. So those are some of the measures that we are putting in place. In addition to that, one of the things that we did recognize is that we may get upticking phone calls because sometimes parents communicate with their scholars via their own cell phone. So the message that we sent out, we asked parents not to do that, call the main office. So this week had a sub to start working on a switchboard, and she will be responsible for answering the phones. We're asking that all other OPs that they still cover their phones. Should they move from their desk to forward their phones to the other OP that's in their office, or make sure that it forwards to the switchboard. So we want to have a continuous rolling to where one person doesn't answer the phone, it rolls over to another phone. Had a conversation with parents this morning, just put it out there, had over 100 parents here for freshman orientation. They're very excited about what we're doing with the cell phones, and they said they're going to support us. And our endeavor is to ensure that there's no sale until the bill. In addition to that, when parents call the school and said to them this morning that the expectation would be for us to get the message to the student as quickly as possible. And oftentimes we're looking for those emergencies that are needed, not, when it's homecoming, when it's prom, things like don't ride the bus home, we're going to pick you up, or, there's a message that we need to get to a student that may not even be appropriate for a student in the school day. It may be more appropriate for us to get that parent to a counselor, and the counselor takes that message to the student, so the student shouldn't find themselves in distress in the school. And we're also going to make sure that all front office staff are trained to communicate calmly with parents, and should there be a situation where we have to send a letter out to the community, just making sure that all of those end users or those people that are answering the phones, that they know what that message is and they can communicate that message in a clear and efficient way to where we can eliminate high stress. And again, as our wonderful student has mentioned, as well as our parent, the elimination of QR codes for communication. We talked with the teachers about it, and we know that we have to make a shift in that. It's an easy way to do it, but we're making a shift on it because, again, there's no sales in there. I believe that they will acclimate with that and govern themselves accordingly.
Just want to point out that we are working with our partners in the special school district to address needs of students who are accustomed to using their phones and looking for ways to meet their needs through Chromebook devices or other devices that may be available. The same would be true for, we're accustomed to using cell phones for translations for students and looking for ways in other technology devices approved through the district to do that as well. Also wanted to just highlight again, as Dr. Gilbride mentioned last week, partnering with our counselors and social workers as we come across students who may have develop dependence or addiction to that device, and working with families to work through those challenges as well. We find that we're speaking about students, but the same is true of adults. And we've all been just ingrained with the use of these devices, so it's going to be learning for everybody. We intend to support everybody in that change. As we work to support.
Hold on. Go ahead, Stacy.
Thank you. I want to point out, as teachers have become accustomed to using phones for part of their instruction, we'll be working with teachers, providing ongoing conversations and professional development to move away from those phone uses, as Dr. Green mentioned, and continue to offer professional development for teachers for other solutions. There was a time that schools functioned without cell phones, and we'll get back to that, or without devices. We'll get feedback from individuals along the way and continue to adjust and provide support. Also, as we monitor and get that feedback and adjust, we'll be looking at behavioral referrals, in-school and out-of-school suspension rates, and feedback from family and staff, as I mentioned. We look to make quarterly adjustments as we look at the data and just adjust our response and our support along the way. Ultimately, we're asking for the board's approval of the policy. Dr. Kilbright did ask me to highlight a few key components within the policy that I want to just read through briefly with the board before you decide to vote. Just want to point out it is prohibited use of personal communication devices, just as has been mentioned, not just cell phones, and that the policy calls out that students are prohibited from displaying or using personal communication devices during the school day. There are exceptions and permitted use in the case of an emergency, which we had not mentioned in our presentation, but it does allow for any weather emergency or life safety emergency for those cell phones to be used and accessed, as well as individual emergency health care plans. As Dr. Alvin Wilson mentioned, there are avenues that is allowable in those cases. The students who bring those personal communication devices to school they do so at their own risk. So part of the policy also mentions that the district assumes no responsibility for lost, stolen, damaged, or misplaced devices when the items are not to be used at school based on the policy. And then again, just want to point out that staff expectation, all Ritter staff should not use cell phones or other electronic mobile devices in the presence of students for non-work related reasons. We know that there are work related reasons, and where we can, we're moving those items to other devices that teachers use, and that's going to be a process as well. Just wanted to point out those key features of the policy before we choose to vote.
Okay. Any questions? We'll need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt policy JFC as presented to the Board of Education.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any other questions, thoughts, or comments? Hearing none. All vote. Ms. Brooke Jones.
Yes.
Dr. Stacy Alvin.
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mr. Eaton.
Yes.
And I shall vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you too for coming here tonight, as well as being at our work session. Okay, so item 3.03 is the second reading and approval of policy IGDAA.
Members, I'm going to highlight some key features of this new policy as well. I want to point out that resident participants, referred to as RP students in the policy, are students who meet the district's residency requirement but receive their education or full-time equivalency through homeschool instruction or what's known as or referred to as family-paced education, school, or virtual school. But they also seek to participate in district events or activities, and that is now allowed by law. I want to just highlight a few other components. In general, our resident participant students are not required to enroll in the district or attend classes in the district. However, the district may require a resident participant student to complete coursework and attend rehearsals, practice, and training sessions that are directly related to and required for trying out or for participating in an event or activity if that applies to that event or activity. Those RP students or those resident participant students will not earn credit for a transcript for any coursework unless the student is formally enrolled in the district. Those RP students may be excluded from any course if the student is not participating or performing at the required level or is a disruption to the instruction. Academic eligibility. Eligibility for some district events and activities depends on students meeting various academic criteria, including completing required coursework, maintaining passing grades in all classes, achieving minimum performance in each course, and sustaining specified overall GPA or fulfilling additional academic expectations. In those cases, the participant or guardian or the parent or guardian of the student educated in those settings or a homeschool setting must provide timely information to the district and respond to any question about the information. They essentially assure that the students are meeting those academic requirements through their homeschool setting. The district is not responsible for transportation for students who are not fully enrolled in the district. Parents and guardians may be required to transport their students to and from events or activities. Again, just wanted to highlight a few key components of that policy as part of the second read. Asking again for the board to consider the policy and approve the policy.
Any questions about this policy? Okay. Then we would need a motion.
Adopting policy IGDAA as presented to the Board of Education.
We have a motion and a second. Call the vote. Mr. Eaton.
Yes.
Enriquez Pinball.
Yes.
Ms. Love Jones.
Yes.
Dr. Stacy Alvin Wilson, how do you vote? Thank you very much. I vote yes.
Thank you, board members.
Now, we have one more policy. This is mine to do because this has more to do with the board members than anything else. Policy BBFA is the conflict of interest in financial disclosure readoption. We do this every year. Say up front, there have been no changes in it, but the state law requires that the readoption of policy BBFA, which is the conflict of interest in financial disclosure at least biannually prior to September 15th. The requirement to readopt was likely intended to remind the board members and the administrators, so this covers administrators, of the policy's provisions which set forth legal restrictions regarding conflict of interest in financial disclosure So we voted on this annually. So we just want to reiterate that we're going to go by it. So with that, there have been no verbal changes, no written changes or anything like that. Does anybody have any questions? Then we'll need a motion.
I move to re-adopt policy BBFA, conflict of interest, financial disclosure as required.
We have a motion and a second. Call the vote. Dr. Stacy Alvin Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Lover Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez Pimblett.
Yes.
Mr. Eaton.
Yes.
I shall vote yes. Thank you all very much for that. Moving on to the next item, 3.05, which is our AMI update. Call on Dr. Denise Stewart. And did she do such a marvelous job leading us in the pledge of allegiance?
Good evening to everyone. So tonight I am presenting our alternative methods of instruction, our plan for Ritenour, providing an overview again to you and then ask for your approval. Our AMI plan is aligned to our equity statement, where we provide virtual instruction to all of our students during AMI days, also holding office hours for students in an effort to support teams learning for our students. And again, our AMI plan is for 36 hours of instruction for emergency circumstances, and it is approved by you on a yearly basis. It includes all of these items at the bottom, but we wanted to point out the communication and of the purpose and expectations of parents and students is something that we really emphasized last year to make sure that we were very clear that it is the completion of work equals attendance on those days. So just to point out, the schedule is the same, 2024-25. It was well received from our staff and our families with the reduced number of hours for virtual instruction, and at pre-K levels, 1 hour of optional virtual instruction with 1 hour of office hours. And then at elementary, middle, and high school, 2 hours and 20 minutes virtual instruction and 1 hour, 1 office hour. So the attendance, we're delighted to say it did increase from the previous year. Last year, our average attendance on AMI days was 56%. This past year, 24-25, the average was 77%, which again increased by 21%. The survey that our Community Services Department sent out had questions in English and Spanish in April of 2025 with 1,535 responses, and you'll see the breakdown of our respondents at the bottom. And the survey results with the question of how would you like Ritenour to use AMI virtual days in the future, with 60% of our respondents saying they would prefer all 6 days, AMI days, and 26.8% preferred 3 AMI and 3 snow days, and 13.2% preferred all snow days. So if you look at our survey findings, you'll see the information I just presented to you on the percent of the respondents that asked for all AMI days, 3 AMI and 3 snow days, and traditional snow days. But you will also see in parentheses the year before what the respondents voted. So you'll see an increase of the respondents that would prefer all AMI days. So in sum, basically, our respondents appreciated the consistency of having the end of the school year the same and really not extending that. Many families also reported they preferred that shortened schedule because it allowed their students to complete their work during that time. So families really appreciated having that clear routine for their child. And that is the end. Do you have any questions?
question I have, and I really don't want to hold the can of worms, and I hope I don't do this, so.
Okay.
But as I look at this, I see early childhood, total hours, 1 hour online, 1 hour of office time. I get to elementary, middle, and high school, and I see 2 hours and 20 minutes, and then I see 1 hour of office time. So for a teacher, I'm looking at early childhood 2 hours, and for everybody else, I'm looking at almost 3.5 hours. What do we do to make sure we're being equitable on our teachers' time here too? Because I see some teachers getting an extra hour and a half that they're home and not working.
You said they're home and, oh, students are home and everything?
No, I'm looking at teachers, because if I look at total hours, then I have 1 hour and then an hour of office hours, so early childhood has 2 hours. So I look at that's when the teachers are, so correct me if I'm reading this wrong, so that's when teachers are working, correct?
Well,
Okay.
they're working.
Then I
full
get
time.
to elementary, middle school, and high school, and I see 2 hours and 20 minutes with an hour of office time. So that's not quite 3.5 hours.
We haven't had any negative feedback from that, to my understanding, because the goal was to make it developmentally appropriate, and I think that was really the goal. But I do understand what you're saying, because that did come out before when it wasn't, even with elementary, middle, and high. So I hear you, we haven't had that complaint, but
I have not. And actually, from our early childhood staff, they report that they spend more time corresponding with families in this 1 hour when everybody's together getting instruction, but they'll spend just as much time corresponding with families and connecting with parents on the phone or talking to people and responding to emails. I have not heard of any concern related to this.
I just want to be sure we're being fair across the board.
I understand. Any other questions?
If there are no other questions, then we'll look for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 6 AMI virtual learning days for the 2025-2026 school year.
We have a motion and a second. Any other thoughts or questions? Not call the vote. Mr. Eden?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez Pinblood?
Yes.
Ms. Lumber Jones?
Yes.
Stacy Alvin Wilson? I'll vote yes. Thank you very much. Moving on to 3.06, which is competency-based education update.
So as we reported last week, competency-based education is aligned to our equity statement, because CBE really focuses on personalizing learning for all students and ensuring that all students are exposed to grade level skills and that students are empowered to set goals for themselves and use those skills to do that. And it's based on math learning, math.
So some of our key accomplishments last year, that we continued to create proficiency skills for every course, and then this past summer we revised some of them as well. Again, we have probably over 1,500, I think was the number of proficiency scales, all aligned to state standards for every course. We trained everybody in Empower for scoring, tracking, and feedback. We'll continue to have more Empower parent sessions this year as well. Student-friendly scale language and classroom posting expectations was implemented in every classroom. Again, that's for clarity of learning, so everyone understands what success looks like in the classroom. And then strategic pilots of scale recovery. So we had some level up programs here at the high school to get kids to pass classes, focusing only on those scales that we needed to earn credit. And other schools doing things like Throwback Thursday and Mastering Monday, where kids will have an opportunity to go back to scales that they weren't quite proficient on and do some reteaching to get them to that 3.0 level.
So Empower is our learning management system, which really aligns instruction and grading to their proficiency scales, and really focusing in on what's next in 25-26. We, like Michael said earlier, our professional development this week really focused on all the teachers, providing them training on that planning tool in Empower, which really focused on planning out every proficiency scale when they're going to start teaching it, when they go to level 2 and level 3 on those scales, and feedback from our teachers that they really appreciated having that time to do that, which really impacts our pacing, which was the area of opportunity last year, really teachers really getting acquainted with the scales and understanding how long it takes to teach on those particular scales. So that is a focus for this coming school year, to really support our teachers with that pacing. And using those proficiency scales to plan, to teach and score really in real time. So also again, focus on ensuring that all students have access to 3.0 skills, and that we're not sitting in those 2.0s, and that all students will have access to that grade level instruction.
So one of our goals is to increase student voice, engagement, agency, and really that student ownership of learning. And so when we visit classrooms, we're always talking to students to see if they know what they're working on, why it matters, asking them what level they're at, what scale are you working on, and what's your plan to move from where you're at to that 3.0, or if you're already at a 3.0, how can you go above and beyond? And so really making sure that kids are hyper aware of the learning and the expectations of the success of the classroom.
So our action plan for the 25-26 school year really focuses on implementation. From our shift meetings to the use of Empower to our professional learning events, our plan will help our staff and students master the content and ultimately help students achieve their goals.
And so what our vision looks like for a fully implemented CD system is that students are saying, I know exactly what I'm working on and how to get better. Teachers are saying, my students aren't asking me about points anymore. They're saying, what do I need to show you? How can I prove to you that I know this? And then a principal might say, we use Empower every day. It's our roadmap.
So do you have any questions?
You know, one came to mind, and I don't know if it's going to be between you and Dr. LaChance here, is there like even a small group of possibility of teachers that we've attracted because of this? I mean, did they come here saying, hey, this is what I want to?
Yeah.
So when we did new teacher training last week, seems like a long time ago, but I always ask the question, because we're a CBE district now, how many of you have ever used proficiency scales? How many of you even know what scales are? 2-3 years ago, nobody, crickets. This year, I would say about 25% of the hands went up. So we're definitely seeing, first of all, that tells you that it's not just Ritenour. Every district in some capacity is starting to move in this direction, but a lot of other neighboring districts in St. Louis County are using proficiency scales. And so,
I'm sorry.
and so even like, I think the fact that we're getting people coming here, because they know that we're probably the farthest along in the region. So.
And even with our new teacher boot camp, so those are people who are just becoming educators. We had 2 or 3 in the group that were at least somewhat familiar with what a proficiency scale was and what competence-based education was. So that means that they're getting it at the collegiate level also.
And I do know a few years ago, the administrator came here because of the work that we're doing with CBE.
We have several candidates throughout the interview process that speak to what we're doing with CBE. Part of our interview process is to learn about their experiences and kind of ask them why Ritenour, what brings them to Ritenour. And in several cases, they talk about CBE. In some cases, we had instructional coaches from other districts who were interested in becoming Ritenour teachers to be a part of the CBE effort. And typically after the interviews, I'm sharing that information with them.
Very good.
Enthusiasm with their team. So.
Any
Any other questions?
Hearing none, we will look for a motion.
I move to approve the 25-26 competency-based education plan as presented.
You call that. Okay, let's call the vote. Ms. Glover Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Enriquez Pimblett?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Very glad we voted yes. Thank you all. Board members, 3.07 is board member comments. Anyone on the board have anything they want to bring forth? News, comments, questions? All right, I got it. We know the start of school is Monday. And before I left tonight, I got to see a little glimpse of the weather report. And does anybody know the weather report for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday? You know how all those other school districts are going to be taking kids to school in very hot buses? Let me answer that for you, sir. Not only do we have air-conditioned buses, but we have brand new electric state-of-the-art buses.
You mean Julie's not gonna get to the plane and she has to ride a bus this year at 100 degrees?
Might take a sweater, Julie. I found them on a bus. It was cold in there. I'm telling you. But yes, we are one of the few school districts in this region that have air-conditioned buses. I think we're one of the few that are fully electrified with battery-run buses. So that's a good check mark right there. Resource Day. No one has mentioned Resource Day. It's last Saturday morning. Doug, how many people do you think were here? Yes, sir. Oh, yes. Doug, what do you think?
I think I said about 1,200.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Now, between Reagan, Lisa, and I, we handed out 1,500 pencils.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
And we ran out of school supplies, what?
By 9:30 a.m.
You know, like an hour and a half after we opened it. You said there were people here at 7 a.m.
They were here for the immunization clinic at 7. There's a line for the immunization clinic about 7:30, and that started at 8.
I got here at 20 till 9, thinking I'd be here a little early, kind of walking around. There was probably 400 people out here already. They let them in early because there's so many people out here. It was awesome. It was incredible. Something we can definitely build on. The need in our community for school supplies is very obvious now. And I think we got a year, and when I say we, not Doug, I say we, to find sources, companies, organizations that want to donate to our kids.
Where did you get the supplies from this year?
Doug, where did we get the supplies from this year?
So there were two sources at their DePaul Hospital collected, and they actually came back to us and said they're going to try and double their efforts next year. And they're going to try to bring more school supplies. They were just blown away. The other was the class of 2005. So they were celebrating their 20th anniversary, and so they had a fun dice game where they would roll the dice and they would give out like certain school supply based on like what number they rolled. We also supposed to have another 300 backpacks. Those are being delivered either tomorrow or Monday from another graduate course for a company. And so they collected 300 backpacks. So we'll be able to get those to the schools as well. So those were the donations. Another medical organization donated about 1,000 backpacks. So it was nice to meet you.
The immunization clinic up here that was in the Fieldhouse foyer area. I don't know how many tables you guys had there, but every table was filled, every chair was filled. People were, you could tell it was another 20 degrees warmer up that way because of all the body heat. But everybody was sitting there waiting, they were patient, they were all nice, walked up there a couple of times and talked to them. That was probably the greatest day we've had here in a long time. And Doug, thank you for you and your group for doing that for us. Look forward to bigger and better next year because the need is bigger and greater. So thank you.
Thank
you all. If you walk around the schools, you walk down the halls in the schools, you'll see some little first aid kits mounted on walls here and there in the hallways. I think of what I got, there was a mandate, there was a law passed by our state government, and I believe that was for in the emergency of if we have, any kind of casualty or anything like that, we now have first aid kits in the various hallways. Okay? So if you see why they're there, something that the state came up with, our state legislators came up with, and we jumped on that and put it on. So you'll see those periodically around. Dr. Green, not to put you on the spot, partner, but those beautiful, wonderful husky sleeves that go over our metal detectors,
Yes.
where are they at?
I'm not sure. I don't say.
I know they're gonna look great, but check on those for us, would you?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Last thing I got is, as I help and talk to different people in our community at our different levels, it was pointed out to me very poignantly, and this goes back to our resource day, that the list of school items that we're requiring our students to bring, especially in the elementary school, is now up to about $126 and change. If you have multiple kids, multiply that by how many kids you got. Once I found that out, guess what? I sent that off to Chris, and Chris and I talked about it a little bit, and he indicated to me that the last time that committee was brought together was about 10 years ago, before we went on computers and such like that. I asked him, very nicely, to bring that committee back together or form that committee. Make sure there are parents on that committee. Make sure that the committee is well representative of our community people. And challenge them to bring the price of that down. Okay, as prices have gone up, all this other stuff, I'm sure that was maybe $60, $70 at one time, and now we're up to $126. I think that's a heck of a burden to put on our community members. And so I look forward to his follow-up, and we're going to see what we can do for that. Okay? That's why that resource day is so important. That's the reason why. And all this stuff was bought at Walmart. So yes, ma'am.
So a question on that, I don't know if this is still happening because I don't have kids working in schools anymore, but as we're making that committee, we also think about that there are many teachers that have their own classroom list, that parents will go out and buy what's on the district list, and then they skip there on the open house, or back to school night, and the teacher is like, oh, here's our classroom list. Some of those teachers will send out a notification as long as they know their students ahead of time and say, hey, don't buy what's on the district list because I have my own classroom list. So I would say there would be some type of consolidation around that or communication so people know which list they should buy.
I did end our conversation between myself and Chris, and I said, here's a goal for you. I don't know if it can be maintained or attained, But here's the goal. Outside of the backpack, because you buy a kid a cheap backpack or an expensive backpack, it's up to you, child. Outside of the backpack, I challenge you and the committee to set a limit of $50 per child for school supplies. I think that's more the reason. If the school district has to supplement that, then that's something we gotta consider. But we have to take that burden off of our parents. With the price of everything going up, the price of rent, food, all that stuff going up, we have to help with some kind of relief. That was our conversation. So I look forward to bringing that to the group for a discussion. If anyone's looked around at the schools, they're beautiful. If Mike Smith was here, I'd be telling him how awesome they were. Oh, sorry, Mike, you're over there. I keep looking out there and see you. Sorry, Mike. But anyway, Mike, tell your group. And Chris and I kind of went around the high school. We went around a couple other schools, and everything shines.
They did a great job this summer.
Everything shines. We went to the pool. We went to the auditorium. We went to the weight room. We went into. I didn't do that. A bird hit the window. Anyway, middle school, I was at Haight. Things are happening there, so I think you guys have, again, achieved the impossible. So thank you very much. I just look forward to the first day of school. And with that, let's move to items 4.0 to 4.15. Is that correct? These are consent agenda items. If anyone has any questions about them, please bring them forth now. If not, I will look for a motion.
Consent agenda items 4.01 through 4.15 as there.
Second.
She gave up.
I'll
She
make
did
a
it.
statement.
Right, if there are no questions, thoughts, or comments, call them. Ms. Henriquez. Mr. Eaton.
Yes.
Ms. Glover Jones.
Yes.
Dr. Stacy Alvin.
Yes.
I will vote yes. Our consent agenda items have been approved. We are to item 5.01, and I need a motion.
I'm gonna look
It's too early, we can't do this.
to adjourn.
Okay, hold on. Does anybody else want to give a report?
Okay.
Rob doesn't want to go home. Julie, you got anything?
The one motion.
You got nothing? Amy?
No.
Nothing?
To adjourn.
Sorry, Rob.
Is this thing on? I recommend to adjourn the meeting. Please.
All those in favor of adjourning this meeting at this hour of the night, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for being here tonight.